Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's video, we're back with our trade tree videos. In today's video, we're looking at a very interesting trade tree involving the LA Kings and the Dallas Stars, and a Kings goaltender that has them still winning this trade years since this trade has happened. We'll get to this trade tree coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. Now before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And don't forget to stay tuned for more videos coming on in the very near future. So in today's video, we're back with our trade tree videos. I haven't done one of these since it was before the trade deadline. So at least January or February. I think the last trade tree video I did was the Islanders Flames Hamnick deal or that Golden Knights Tampa one in the expansion draft. So it's been a while since I've done a trade tree video here. But with things being slow at the NHL right now, I want to try and bring back the trade tree videos. I'm going to do a couple of them. I have a couple in my mind. But if you guys have a couple trade trees you want me to look at, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion and your thoughts. And if you guys have some trade trees that I could very well do videos on, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below and try and do some that are more recent. So probably in the last like 10-15 years that are still going on. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, and if you guys have trade tree videos for me to do, leave them down in the comments below. But in today's video, we're looking at a very interesting trade. So back in 2011, the Dallas Stars took Jack Campbell in the first round of the draft. So it was a really solid pickup there for the Stars at the time. Campbell very rarely got into game action for the Dallas Stars. He got a couple of stints at the NHL level, but at the time the Dallas Stars had guys like Ben Bishop on that team. So entering the 2016 offseason, they were looking for some defensive depth. They want to try and get some more younger blue liners on their thing. So they struck up a deal on June 25th, 2016 with the LA Kings. And the trade was as follows. It was a 1-for-1 deal. Nick Ebert, who was a 2012 7th round pick, was dealt to the Dallas Stars for Jack Campbell. Now, this was a deal that at the time was a very interesting one. The Stars got more of an AHL level defender, but was a young guy, had some promise, could potentially be a guy who could play NHL level minutes, while Campbell was going to be a solid starting goaltender there for the LA Kings in a couple of years' time. They still had Jonathan Quick. So at that point in time, it was still a very interesting trade. The Kings were able to get Quick's backup in Campbell, and the Stars got some defensive depth in Ebert. So we'll look at both these sides of the trade here. So from the Stars side, it was a very interesting trade, and it was one that I think in retrospect they probably wouldn't do. So Ebert, coming off a season where he had 2 goals and 12 points in 44 games in the AHL for the Los Angeles Kings, was dealt to Dallas. That season for Dallas, he had a career high at the AHL level, putting up 9 goals and a career high 25 points in 68 games. But after that season, the Stars wouldn't bring him back. He would wind up leaving for the KHL and would spend a number of seasons overseas before eventually back in the 1920 season winding up joining Ottawa and the New York Rangers. So I mean, that was really a bust of a deal for the Dallas Stars. They move off of a solid young goalie in Campbell to get 1 AHL season of Nick Ebert before he left as a UFA. So that branch of the trade tree is done as Ebert wound up leaving, and thus the branch doesn't continue there for the Dallas Stars. For the Kings though, this wound up being a really good deal that would still benefit them to this day. So Campbell got his first taste of NHL action in 13-14, letting in 6 goals and having 872 save percentage in 1 game for Dallas. After that, really didn't get into any NHL action. He was then dealt, like we said, at the 2016 season. That one season with the Los Angeles Kings, he came in relief, had 1 game of NHL action that year, putting up a 1.00 GA, so he didn't let any goals. It was a solid season there. Jack Campbell that year was mostly AHL level guy, but had a 2.52 GA and 914 save percentage in 52 games, which was a lot better than his previous season in the AHL with the Dallas Stars AHL affiliates. So he had a really solid AHL season. The next year, more of an AHL level guy again, but he did get some NHL experience in the 17-18 season. He had 2.83 GA and 912 save percentage in 26 AHL games, but had 2.48 GA and 924 save percentage in 5 NHL games that year, and actually looked quite good. He started to become more and more the Jonathan Quick's backup. So then in the 18-19 season, he played a couple of games at the AHL level, was mostly an NHL guy though, so he was starting to become more and more prominent at the NHL NHL level. Wound up having a 2.3 GAA and 928 save percentage in 31 games, which was his best season to date. Got over 30 games of NHL action, was looking really good as the backup for the Los Angeles Kings to Jonathan Quick, but then entered the 1920 season. The Kings, it was a contract year for Jack Campbell. They knew they were going to have to pay him. They still had Jonathan Quick on the books. They had a young Cal Peterson on the rise. So with all that in mind, after having 20 games of NHL action, putting up a 2.85 GAA and 900 save percentage, which were some of the lower numbers that he had at the NHL level in his stints with the Los Angeles Kings, the Kings would make a trade on February 5th, 2020. So with him entering his deal and with the Maple Leafs needing some more goaltending help for that team, the Kings and Leafs would strike up a deal involving Jack Campbell. And the trade was as follows. The Kings packaged Jack Campbell and Cal Clifford, who was at that time a longtime Los Angeles Kings player who was also entering the tail end of his career. They would package those guys on February 5th and trade them to the Toronto Maple Leafs for three things: young forward Trevor Moore, a 2020 third-round pick, and a 2021 third-round pick. So they got 2 third-round picks and Trevor Moore in exchange for Jack Campbell and Cal Clifford. This was an interesting deal there for the Los Angeles Kings and the Toronto Maple Leafs. For the Kings, they didn't really want to pay Jack Campbell. They had Cal Peterson coming up in the wing. They wanted to go around and get the best value for him, and Cal Clifford was starting to become more of a bomb 6'4" instead of a middle 6'4". And for the Leafs, they needed that goaltending, and Campbell will eventually work quite well in the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, going on to help the Maple Leafs make it to multiple playoff runs and first round exits. So very interesting note there. But for the Kings, we're looking at the Kings portion here. So we're going to look at the three things that the Kings got in this deal, which are all still helping them to this day. The first one was Trevor Moore. At that point in time, Moore just finished his first season at the NHL level. He was during his second season at the NHL level, had 3 goals and 5 points in 27 games at the time of that trade, but then wound up having 3 goals and 5 points in 15 games with Los Angeles. The Kings viewed him as a top 9 forward, and since then he has morphed into that. His first full season with the LA Kings was the 2020-2021 season, where he had 23 points in 56 games. That was the shortened season, but since then he has been phenomenal. The next year, career high 17 goals, 48 points in 81 games. Then he had 29 points in 59 games. He was out of the season due to injuries. 2 years ago, had career high 31 goals and 57 points in 82 games, and this past year had 18 goals and 40 points in 71 games. So in 3 of the last 4 seasons with Los Angeles, Moore has put up 40 plus points. That was a really good pickup here for the Los Angeles Kings in this deal, and still working for them at this point in time. Moore still has 3 years left on his current contract at a $4.2 million cap hit, and he's turned to a really solid middle six guy who could put up between 40 and 50 points. Like that alone, I think, really made up for trading Jack Campbell. But they also got 2 other pieces of this deal: 2 third-round picks, one in 2020, one in 2021. So the 2020 third-round pick wound up being 83rd overall that the Kings got from the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they wound up keeping that pick. And they used that pick to select someone who's actually currently on the LA Kings roster right now, and that's Alex Laferriere. Laferriere was taken with the 83rd overall pick in the 2020 draft. Spent a couple of seasons, I think, was back over in college. He recently just signed his DLC over the past couple of seasons. 2 years ago, has first full stint at the NHL level, putting up 12 goals and 23 points in his first NHL season, playing 81 games. And then this past year, took it another step, 19 goals, 42 points in 77 games. He's currently an RFA in need of a new contract. I expect him to get it, but Laferriere has been such a really good piece for the Los Angeles Kings, and I think going forward has the potential to be a solid top 6 forward, putting up 25 to 30 goals and 50 to 60 points. Like, you get Laferriere, you get Moore. The other third-round pick they wound up dealing, it was the 89th overall pick in the 2021 draft. They wound up packaging that pickup with the 168th overall pick in the 2021 draft. They dealt both those things to Calgary to trade up 5 spots in the 2021 draft, and with the 84th now overall pick in the 2021 draft, they wound up taking Kirill Kirsanov. Kirsanov was the 84th overall pick in the 2021 draft. At this current point in time, he just came over from the KHL, so he was over in the KHL for a long time. He recently just signed his ELCs in the first year of a 2-year ELC. He'll be getting his first taste of pro action. I do think long-term Kirsanov has the potential to be a solid third pair defenseman, maybe could push for second pair minutes. Either way though, this is going to be a solid trade here for the LA Kings because they do move off Campbell and Clifford. Campbell had a couple solid seasons in Toronto. He didn't really do overly great with the Cal Pearson, Jonathan Quick situations eventually. But what they got for that deal, while I'm turning it into Trevor Moore, who's a solid middle six forward, Alex Laferriere, who at this point in time could eventually turn into a solid top six forward, and Kirill Kirsanov, who might eventually be a solid third pair defenseman. And all three of those guys are still on the Los Angeles Kings roster. So all in all, the Campbell for Ebert trade I think has to be decided in the LA Kings' favor. Like, they did trade Nick Ebert, who at the time was a decent up-and-coming young defenseman, but he never panned out for the Dallas Stars. Jack Campbell wound up turning into a really solid backup to Jonathan Quick, and when it came time, they traded him and still have Trevor Moore, Alex Laferriere, and Kirill Kirsanov from that deal. So at this point in time, I think I gotta say the LA Kings, looking back on it, won that deal hands down. Not only did they get a couple of good seasons from Campbell, but they also got Moore, Laferriere, and Kirsanov. So definitely, I'll let you guys thoughts on this deal down in the comment section below. Campbell for Ebert. Who won this deal? I definitely think most of you guys will say it's the Los Angeles Kings. And are you surprised at how well that Campbell deal to Toronto turned out and panned out for the LA Kings, giving them 2 top 9 forwards and potentially a third pair of defensemen from that deal? Definitely your thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. And once again, if you have any trade trees you want me to discuss on my videos, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. That's all I'm going to talk for today. Remember to like this video, and if you'd like to, remember to subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this with all of you guys, so if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to leave a comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to stay tuned for more videos coming out in the very near future. I also have a blog talking about news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that, so check that out. I've linked that down in the description below. Can't wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.